Everybody wants success. Everybody wants to win. Everybody wants the spotlight, the recognition, the respect. But very few are willing to do what it takes when nobody's watching. Very few are willing to wake up early, to stay late, to put in the hours when there's no applause, no validation, no audience. Most people want to talk about their dreams more than they actually want to chase them. They want to announce their goals, post about their grind, tell the world what they're going to do. But talking won't get you there. Words don't build legacies. Actions do. The real greats, the real champions, the real success stories, their work speaks for itself. They don't waste time explaining their plans. They don't look for approval. They don't seek attention. They just work. And when it's time, the results make the noise. Everybody wants to shine, but not everyone is willing to polish. Not everyone is willing to put in the quiet work, the lonely work, the unseen work, because that's the hard part. That's the part where most people quit. That's the part where doubt creeps in, where you start questioning yourself, where no one is around to cheer you on. But that's also the part where greatness is made. It's built in the empty gym, in the late night study sessions, in the overtime hours, in the sacrifices no one else sees. The world only sees the success at the end, but they don't see the struggle that made it possible. And that's why you must embrace the grind. You must learn to love the process, not the praise. Because if you chase attention, you'll never last. If you need validation, you'll never reach your full potential. But if you put your head down, if you stay locked in, if you do the work in silence, the results will be so loud that no one will be able to ignore it. Success doesn't come to those who announce their plans. It comes to those who execute them. While others are busy talking, you need to be working. While others are chasing clout, you need to be chasing mastery. Let them doubt you. Let them overlook you. Let them think you're not doing enough. And then, one day, when they least expect it, your results will speak so loudly that they won't have a choice but to acknowledge you. That's the power of working in silence. It keeps you focused. It keeps you hungry. It keeps you grounded. Because when you stop worrying about impressing others, you start impressing yourself. And when you start impressing yourself, you start pushing yourself harder. You start leveling up in ways that no amount of validation could ever give you. You have nothing to prove to anyone except yourself. The ones who doubt you now, the ones who underestimate you, the ones who think you won't make it, they're not your problem. Your only job is to show up and do the work. No shortcuts, no excuses, just work every single day, even when it's hard, even when you feel like quitting, even when no one is watching. Because trust me, one day they will watch. One day they will see what you've built. One day they will hear your name and realize they should have believed in you all along. And when that day comes, you won't have to say a word, because your work, your success, your results will say everything for you. Your grind is not for show. Work hard in silence and let your results do the talking. Too many people want to be seen before they've even done the work. They want the credit before they've earned it. They want the applause before they've built something worth clapping for. But real success doesn't come from talking about it. It comes from putting in the work when no one is looking. The ones who truly make it to the top understand that greatness is built in the quiet moments, in the unseen hours, in the sacrifices that happen behind closed doors. They don't waste energy trying to prove themselves to others. They don't need to post about every move they make. They don't seek validation from people who aren't walking their path. Instead, they stay focused, they stay disciplined, and they let their results speak for themselves. Because when you truly dedicate yourself to your craft, when you put in the effort day after day, you won't have to say a word. Your success will announce itself. The problem with seeking attention is that it distracts you from the work that actually matters. If you're constantly worried about impressing people, about showing off your progress, about making sure everyone knows what you're doing, then your focus isn't where it should be. Success requires undivided attention. It demands that you give your all, that you commit fully, that you lock in and do the work without worrying about who's watching. Because at the end of the day, the people you're trying to impress won't be there to put in the hours for you. They won't be there when you're struggling, when you're doubting yourself, when you're pushing past your limits. This journey is yours and yours alone. And if you're doing it for approval, if you're chasing attention instead of mastery, then you'll never reach your full potential. But if you learn to embrace the silence, if you learn to love the process without needing recognition, then you'll discover a power that most people never tap into, the power of pure, focused, relentless work. The ones who make the most noise are often the ones who don't last. They start strong, they talk big, they announce every step they take, but when the real challenges come, they fade away. Why? Because they were more focused on looking successful than actually being successful. They were more interested in appearing great than in putting in the painful, lonely, exhausting work that greatness requires. On the other hand, the silent workers, the ones who keep their heads down, the ones who stay in the background grinding while everyone else is showing off, those are the ones who build something real. Those are the ones who become unstoppable. Because they are not driven by applause. They are driven by their own standards. They are not fueled by attention. They are fueled by the desire to be great. And when their moment finally comes, when they step into the spotlight, there will be no doubt, no questioning, no need for explanation. Their results will be so undeniable that the world will have no choice but to take notice. There is something powerful about working in silence, about keeping your progress to yourself, about allowing your work to speak louder than your words ever could. It builds discipline. It builds resilience. It forces you to rely on your own motivation instead of the fleeting approval of others. When you stop worrying about proving yourself to people and start proving yourself to yourself, everything changes. You stop making decisions based on what looks good and start making decisions based on what actually gets you closer to your goal. You stop getting distracted by comparisons, by competition, by outside noise, and you start focusing on becoming the absolute best version of yourself. That's when you start to see real progress. That's when you start to separate yourself from the pack. That's when your work ethic becomes undeniable and your results become inevitable. So don't waste time trying to convince people that you're working hard. Don't feel the need to announce every move you make. Don't fall into the trap of chasing recognition instead of chasing excellence. Just work. Work when no one is watching. Work when no one believes in you. Work when it feels like nothing is happening. Because one day, all of that effort, all of that discipline, all of that quiet grinding will pay off in a way that no words ever could. And when that moment comes, you won't have to say a thing. Your success will be loud enough to speak for itself. Distractions will come, but staying focused on your craft is what separates the great from the average. The world is full of noise, social media, opinions, negativity, and countless temptations pulling you away from what really matters. Everyone has an opinion about what you should be doing, how you should be doing it, and whether or not you're good enough. If you let those distractions get into your mind, they will slow you down, drain your energy, and make you doubt yourself. The truth is, most people don't fail because they aren't talented or capable. They fail because they get distracted. They start strong, but then they start paying attention to the wrong things. They get caught up in what other people are doing. They compare themselves to others. They waste time explaining themselves, defending themselves, proving themselves. And before they know it, they've lost their momentum. But the ones who truly make it, they don't let the distractions win. They put their blinders on. They block out the noise. They stay locked in on their vision, no matter what's happening around them. Focus is your greatest weapon in a world that is designed to distract you. Every single day, there will be something trying to pull you away from your goals. It might be people telling you that you're wasting your time. It might be friends trying to get you to take the easy route. It might be the voice in your own head telling you to slow down, to take a break, to stop pushing so hard. But you have to fight for your focus. You have to remind yourself why you started. You have to discipline your mind to ignore everything that doesn't serve your purpose. Because the truth is, the distractions aren't going anywhere. Social media will still be there. The critics will always have something to say. The easy road will always be an option. But if you give in to those things, if you allow yourself to get sidetracked, you will never reach the level of greatness you are capable of. The people who reach the highest levels of success are not necessarily the smartest or the most talented. They're simply the ones who stayed the most focused. While everyone else was wasting time, they were working. While everyone else was talking, they were grinding. While everyone else was distracted, they were locked in. And because of that, they created separation. They built momentum. They developed a level of discipline that made them unstoppable. Focus is a skill. And like any skill, it has to be trained. Every time you choose to stay locked in instead of getting distracted, you strengthen that skill. Every time you choose to put in the work instead of making excuses, you get closer to your goal. And over time, that consistency pays off in ways that most people will never understand. The world will always try to pull you away from your purpose, but you have to be stronger than the distractions. You have to decide what matters to you and commit to it fully. You have to protect your time, your energy, and your vision, because at the end of the day, your success will not be determined by how talented you are or how much potential you have. It will be determined by how well you focus. So stop looking around. Stop worrying about what other people are doing. Stop giving your attention to things that don't push you forward. Lock in, stay disciplined, stay focused. Because in the end, the ones who stay focused are the ones who win. Success is built in the unseen hours. When no one is watching, when no one is clapping, when no one believes in you yet. The work that truly changes your life happens in silence, behind the scenes, in the moments when it's just you and your grind. That's when champions are made. That's when greatness is forged. Everyone sees the finished product, the awards, the achievements, the success, but no one sees the early mornings, the late nights, the sacrifices, the failures, the discipline it takes to get there. That's why most people never reach their full potential. They want the glory, but they don't want the process. They want the rewards, but they don't want the struggle. But the ones who make it, they show up when no one else does. They put in the work when no one is cheering for them. Because they know that success isn't about what happens in front of the world. It's about what happens when no one is looking. The unseen hours test you. They push you. They force you to prove how much you really want it. It's easy to work hard when people are watching, when you're getting credit, when there's excitement around what you're doing. But what about when there's nothing? What about when no one is checking for you, when no one is giving you recognition, when no one even believes in you yet? That's where most people quit. That's where they slow down. That's where they lose motivation. But if you can push through that, if you can stay locked in when the world isn't paying attention, that's when you separate yourself. Because while everyone else is waiting for approval, waiting for the perfect moment, waiting for motivation, you're already putting in the work. You're already creating the future you want. And by the time they realize what you've been doing, it will be too late. They won't be able to catch up. There's a reason why the greatest athletes, the most successful entrepreneurs, and the most legendary performers all say the same thing. It's not about what happens under the lights. It's about what happens in the dark. The real work is lonely. The real work is repetitive. The real work isn't glamorous, but that's what makes it powerful. Every early morning, every extra rep, every late night spent honing your craft, those are the things that separate the average from the great. Because the truth is, talent will only take you so far. Natural ability won't save you if you're not willing to put in the effort. It's the discipline to show up every single day, the commitment to doing the little things right, the relentless focus on getting better even when no one else sees it. That's what makes the difference. So don't wait for recognition. Don't wait for someone to tell you that you're doing a good job. Don't wait for the world to validate your hard work. Just work. Work in silence. Work with consistency. Work with the knowledge that every hour you put in, every sacrifice you make, every moment you spend building your dream, it all matters. And when the time comes, when your moment arrives, when the world finally sees what you've been doing all along, you won't have to say a word. Your results will speak so loudly that they won't be able to ignore you. Talking about your dreams will not make them happen. Consistent effort, discipline, and sacrifice will. Too many people spend their time telling the world what they're going to do, making big announcements, and looking for validation before they've even put in the work. But success doesn't come from words. It comes from action. You can talk all day about your goals, your plans, your ambitions, but if you don't back it up with real effort, it means nothing. Dreams don't come true just because you say them out loud. They come true because you work for them every single day, because you show up when it's hard, because you stay committed when no one is watching. The real difference between those who succeed and those who don't is not in what they say, it's in what they do. People love to talk about their dreams because it feels good. It gives them a temporary sense of accomplishment, like they've already done something just by saying it. But that feeling is an illusion. Talking about your goals won't bring you closer to them. If anything, it can slow you down because it tricks your mind into thinking you've already made progress, when in reality nothing has changed. The only thing that will ever move you forward is action, and not just one-time effort, not just working hard for a few days or a few weeks, but real, consistent, disciplined work over the long haul. That's what separates those who actually make it from those who only wish they could. Success demands sacrifice. It demands effort when you don't feel like it. It demands discipline when distractions try to pull you away. It demands a level of commitment that most people aren't willing to give. That's why so many people talk big but never achieve what they say they want, because they aren't willing to pay the price. They aren't willing to wake up earlier, to stay later, to push through the obstacles, to do the things that are hard and uncomfortable. But if you are, if you're willing to put in the work, to make the sacrifices, to stay locked in even when no one else understands your vision, then nothing can stop you. Because in the end, success doesn't come to the loudest talkers. It comes to the hardest workers. It comes to those who let their results do the talking. It comes to those who understand that action, not words, is what builds greatness. So don't waste your energy trying to convince people of what you're going to do. Don't feel the need to prove yourself with words. Just work. Work in silence, work with discipline, work with focus, and let your results speak for themselves. Because when you truly dedicate yourself to something, when you put in the time, the effort, the sacrifice, there will be no need to talk. Your success will be so loud that the world won't be able to ignore it. Let doubters and naysayers fuel your fire. Prove them wrong with action, not words. The moment you decide to chase something bigger than yourself, to push past your limits, to step into greatness, there will always be people who doubt you. They will tell you that you can't do it, that you're wasting your time, that you're dreaming too big. Some will laugh, some will dismiss you, and some will secretly hope you fail. But here's the truth. None of that matters. Their opinions don't determine your future. Their disbelief doesn't define your potential. The only thing that truly matters is how you respond. You can let their negativity break you, or you can let it build you. You can let it discourage you, or you can let it drive you. The choice is yours. The best way to silence doubters is not with words, not with arguments, not with explanations, but with undeniable results. Most people waste too much time trying to convince others to believe in them. They defend themselves, they seek approval, they try to change people's minds. But that's energy wasted. The people who doubt you today won't believe in you until they see the proof. And by the time that proof arrives, you won't even need their belief anymore. That's why you don't need to respond to negativity. You don't need to explain yourself. You don't need to argue. Just work. Work so hard, so consistently, so relentlessly that your success makes them question why they ever doubted you in the first place. When you focus on proving yourself with results instead of words, something incredible happens. You stop caring about what others think. You stop seeking approval. You stop worrying about who's watching. And in that freedom, you become unstoppable. Doubt is part of the process. Every person who has ever achieved greatness has faced it. Every champion, every legend, every success story was once underestimated, overlooked, or counted out. But they didn't let the doubt define them. They used it. They let it fuel them. They turned every "you can't" into a reason to go harder. Every time someone told them they wouldn't make it, they trained longer. Every time someone laughed at their dreams, they worked in silence. And when the time came, when the results finally spoke for themselves, the doubters had nothing left to say. That's the mindset you need. Let every doubt, every criticism, every moment of rejection become fuel. Let it push you. Let it sharpen you. Let it remind you exactly why you started in the first place. So don't argue, don't explain, don't waste time proving yourself to people who aren't even walking your path. Just work, keep your head down, stay focused, and build something so undeniable that no one can question it. One day, the same people who doubted you will look at what you've built, and they will have no choice but to respect it. And by then, their opinion won't even matter, because your success will have already spoken for you. Patience and persistence separate the successful from the ones who give up too soon. The road to greatness is not short, easy, or predictable. It is long, filled with obstacles, and often lonely. Many people start strong, full of energy and excitement. But when results don't come quickly, when progress feels slow, when setbacks happen, they lose motivation. They doubt themselves. They start looking for shortcuts or easier paths. But success doesn't happen overnight. It doesn't happen in weeks or months. It happens over years of relentless effort, discipline, and commitment. The ones who make it aren't necessarily the most talented or the luckiest. They are simply the ones who refuse to quit. They show up every single day, even when they don't feel like it. They push through the struggles, the failures, the frustrations. They trust the process, knowing that everything they do today is building the foundation for the future they want. The biggest enemy of success is impatience. Too many people quit right before their breakthrough. They give up because they don't see immediate results, because they compare their journey to others, because they let frustration get the best of them. But growth takes time. Mastery takes time. You don't plant a seed and expect a tree the next day. You water it, you nurture it, you keep showing up even when nothing seems to be happening. And then one day, after months or years of consistent effort, that seed turns into something real. That's how success works. It's not about one big moment. It's about the small, unseen steps you take every single day. If you stay committed, if you stay patient, if you refuse to quit when things get tough, eventually your hard work will pay off in ways you never imagined. The difference between those who win and those who don't is simple. Winners keep going. They keep working in silence when no one is watching. They keep showing up even when the results aren't immediate. They trust that the process is working even when they can't see it yet. And because of that, they build something lasting. They become unstoppable. But the ones who give up too soon, the ones who get frustrated when things don't happen fast enough, they never get to see what could have been. They never get to experience the rewards of all their effort. And the sad truth is, many of them were closer to success than they realized. So be patient. Stay consistent. Keep working even when progress feels slow. Because the people who achieve greatness aren't the ones who got lucky or had everything handed to them. They are the ones who refuse to stop. They are the ones who understood that success is a long game, and they were willing to play it until the end. If you can do that, if you can work in silence, stay focused, and keep going no matter what, then success is not a matter of if. Your time will come, and when it does, you'll look back and realize that every second of struggle, every moment of doubt, every hard day was worth it, because you didn't quit, you didn't take shortcuts, you put in the work, and now your success speaks for itself.